This Lurrus Saga Lorien revealed shell is enabling some very cool deck building ideas. In last Sunday's challenge, Merfolk with Lurrus made the top 8. Let's fix the deck up and run it through a league. All right, welcome back, Vintage Gamers. Just recently, on Sunday, our good friend Slasher top-8'd a Vintage Challenge with a sweet-looking Lurfolk list. So Slasher took the existing Lurrus Saga shell of Lurrus in combination with 4 Saga, 4 Wasteland, 4 Lorien Revealed, and put it inside of the Merfolk shell that Not Me and I had previously worked on. So the Not Me and I's Merfolk shell was moving Merfolk away from blue cards and putting it into cards that could utilize Moxen. So Tide Shaper is kicked off of one colorless. Thieving Skydiver uses Moxen really well, as does these 1 and a blue costs for, well, not exactly Saga Silvergill, but sometimes Silvergill and the Hexcatcher. What was that? That was WotC's favorite vintage card. So I thought that was a pretty cool idea. I had some some concerns with the way that Slasher put together his first list, but obviously I think the concept of playing all of the 2-drop, 1 blue Merfolk inside of a Lurrus shell makes a lot of sense. So this is the top 8 list, and I'm going to go through the changes we're going to make to the deck before we play it today, and then we'll get going. So the things that I don't really like about this list are not that many, actually. It's just I don't really like the idea of playing a blue casting cost in our 9 colorless land deck. I do think that these Lord of the Atlantis serve a pretty big purpose now because of the addition of Orcish Bowmaster to the metagame. So cutting these may end up proving to be a mistake. The problem is I just don't see them being super castable, because what we're going to also do is cut these Aether Vials. Aether Vial is just not really a vintage power level card, and while it does conceptually work here, it's very slow and clunky and opens you up to getting disrupted in a variety of different ways, whether that be a Null Rod, a Needle, artifact removal, etc. A big problem right now is that this deck doesn't actually have the other Moxen in it, and it really should. The colorless costs for these cards is important, and we definitely want to add the Moxen back in, especially Pearl and Jet, so that Lurrus becomes a bit more castable. So in the main, we're going to make a quick swap of Aether Vials and Lord of the Atlantis out, and we're going to put in 4 Moxen, Mana Crypt, and 1 other card in. And then in the sideboard, there was just some hiccups here where Hydroblast doesn't really have any targets in the current metagame. There just aren't very many red decks. So we can move out Hydroblast for slightly better cards. I don't really like Tabernacle. It's pretty good against our own deck here. It doesn't have a lot of mana. Well, it'll be not as bad once we add the Moxen back in, but we also have no way to find it, so we're just kind of hoping to have a Tabernacle in our 7 against Bazaar, and I don't really like that. Usually, if I want a Tabernacle in a non-demonic tutor, non-vampiric tutor deck, I'll have multiple Tabernacles. So we're gonna make some quick changes. Flusterstorm and Spell Pierce are kind of hard to cast in this deck, so having 3 Flusterstorm on the board is a little bit too many. But I do kind of like the idea of Mistcaller as anti-Oath and Tell tech. And I think Hurkyl's Recall makes some sense here in a deck once we add Moxen into the deck. Without the Moxen in this deck, I don't think the Hurkyl's Recall makes as much sense. And I also think that without the Moxen, the Lorien Reveals get a lot weaker. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this list and put it into the trash can. We wish Slasher congratulations and on a good top 8, and now we're gonna play this version. It's basically the same. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's basically the same exact deck. We just made some slight changes. Like I said, the Moxen and the Mana Crypt come in, the Aether Vial and the Lord of Atlantis come out, and we're gonna play a 60th card, Aether Spellbomb, that we can search off of Saga. I think this could be important in like bouncing an Orcish army. I think this is a really nice effect to have at the end of your Saga. Like, when you think about, like, the Aether Vial coming off of Saga, right? It's already too late for the Aether Vial to make impact. But at the point of a game where a Saga comes to completion, it's a lot of the times you're going to want the ability to bounce a creature or even draw a card. So we put those changes, and then in the sideboard, not too big changes either. This deck has an atrocious mono-white initiative matchup. It's very, very bad. So we're gonna try to remedy that with some little changes and see if that helps. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add 2 Dismember and 2 Phantasmal Image. That might help enough to sneak out some wins. But I do think that Mono White Initiative, even with adding 4 cards to the sideboard, is just going to be very hard. The last time I played Mono White Initiative against Mono White Initiative with this deck, the non-Lurrus version, obviously, the only card that really helped in the matchup was True Name Nemesis. And obviously, we can't play True Name Nemesis with Lurrus of the Dream Den. Yeah, so this is conceptually, if you haven't actually already gone and seen the original Merfolk lists on my channel, you should go back and watch those videos, because conceptually, what this deck does is beats up on opposing Saga, Artifact, and combo decks, and then loses pretty heavily to other creature decks because I'm foregoing the powerful Lord effects that would typically give you the advantage in a creature matchup from Merfolk, and instead playing these, anti-Saga card with Tideshaper, anti-Artifact card with Skydiver. You're playing more of this kind of, tempo-y blue controlling deck. Exactly. Like, I don't think that Lord of Atlantis is bad in this deck. I just don't know if it's good enough to warrant having a very hard casting cost. And it could end up being the case that it doesn't matter and you need to, but we'll have to see. Any other changes? Oh, and the only other change is I put in Tinker Sphinx because I do think that the Bazaar matchup can be pretty challenging, and having the ability to go for Tinker Sphinx will be pretty helpful. So yeah, that's what we did for the changes. We're going to play it through a league tonight and see how it goes. I'm hoping we don't run into Mono White Initiative, but if we do, maybe we get to see if these sideboard cards help a lot. And I'll see you for round 1. Are you interested in weekly vintage metagame recommendations? Do you want to see your deck list played on my channel? Or maybe you are just looking for the best way to support my vintage content? Make sure you check out the Patreon link in the description below. Let's battle. All right, let's do it. Round 1, we have a cat and we have fish. And we have an Ancestral Recall. And we're versing another Lurrus matchup. That's good. So the main thing I want to focus on in this matchup is to try my best to not get destroyed by Bowmaster, because that's what I'm super worried about with our deck full of X1s. All right, so my opponent has the ability to play turn 1 Bowmaster now. Soul Ring. Do they play Soul Ring? Or is this the Seed of the Cyanod deck? Wow, that is a hand. I mean, if they cast a Thoughtcast off this or PO, we're just super dead on the spot, right? No, puts Lurrus into hand. And go? Interesting. So this Hexcatcher could actually counter a Force here. That's kind of interesting as well. So I think what we'll do is we'll go Saga Lotus, cast Ancestral, and see what happens. Because we're always playing Saga here, and this doesn't, like, increase our count towards... I guess we can't really play around Mindbreak Trap, right? But... Oh, I guess maybe they'll counter my Black Lotus now. So maybe I need to lead Black Lotus, sorry. So I think I have to lead Black Lotus and then play Saga. I don't know. Is that more enticing? Which one is more enticing in the blind against a Lurrus deck? If I, like, play Saga first or if I play Lotus first? I agree. I think Saga's a great draw here. So I'm gonna. I don't think I'm supposed to play around negation, especially with the ability to hex catch here. I think his lead Lotus is better. Ugh. That is basically the worst possible outcome here. Yeah. I don't think I like that as much as playing Saga, even. I think playing a Saga here is more important than resolving Ancestral. With the Mox in hand, obviously. All right, I do think I'm going to try to Hex catch this because I don't really feel like we have a lot going on. And we might need a Force. So this is counter target. This is Daze, basically. I basically hard cast a Daze on this Mental Misstep. And then we see if my opponent has another counter. No counter. This is perfect. Say we drew a Force. We've got Skydivers coming down. Ah, I wish we could skydive for 0 here. So, I mean, we're probably not even making constructs. We're probably just casting Skydiver every turn. But we do need to make a blue source. So we might have to pitch a Skydiver. I guess I don't have to make that decision until later. But this forces a great draw, obviously. Yeah, there's no reason to make that decision now. I would love to have both Skydivers, but I don't have a blue land currently. So they have a Tundra. What deck plays a Tundra? Is this like the Hank the Obese blue-white version? They can't play Lurrus yet. They don't have another white source or black source. Time Vault. That's fine. I'm not worried about Time Vault yet. I have to cycle this Lorien. Hopefully we draw like another blue card maybe. I might be supposed to Wasteland as well. What is this? Wow. Cathar Commando. Classic Saga Gaming. I think this is fine. If they kill our Saga, it's not the end of the world. We still just Wasteland their Tundra, and they have nothing. They have one card and a Lurrus in hand. We still have Force. Yeah, this is fine. I'm not happy about it, but Cathar Commando very good against Urza Saga. Classic Saga Gaming. Negation's not bad. Definitely going to keep them off of Lurrus here. It does put us farther away from skydiving, but if we can skydive their Sapphire, they might end up being really cut on colors here. If we can draw like a Mox in this turn, it'd be ideal. Oh, you do love to see it. So now we can kick the Skydiver and steal the Sapphire. I think stealing the Sapphire is better than stealing the Soul Ring because it's just cutting them off of blue. What is this? This is a Dress Down. Fuck, man. All right. Opponent's got the good cards. So they have a Lurrus and an Unknown. If I force pitching Negation here, that opens me up to getting keyed. I think I just get ranched by this Dress Down. All right, opponents had the nice counterattack for each thing we've attempted to do in this game. I do really like this blue-white deck. I think it's I think it's like holistically a better deck than the blue-black version. The problem is it's worse in the mirror. Like the blue-black deck beats it in the mirror, which is a huge issue. But I think the blue-white Lurrus deck has better cards in it. Like, I think playing Cathar Commando and Lavinia and Swords to Plowshares and Prismatic Ending and sideboard cards, I think those cards are better than playing, like, the one Demonic Tutor plus Bowmaster. I'm not the biggest Bowmaster fan, is what it really comes down to. But, I mean, Bowmaster is totally playable card, but I just, like, feel like we could do better in Vintage than Bowmaster. But yeah, it's really tough because the blue-white deck just is really bad in the mirror because you're playing, you know, Cathar Commando and draw cards and you don't have Bowmaster. So my opponent is not currently drawing this card. Maybe they are currently finishing up their Super Jump Phantom League. Is there a reason for not having a Tundra UC to fetch with Lorien for Lurrus? Yeah, it's because Island's pretty busted. It's okay. We made the deck better at casting Lurrus by adding Jet and Pearl that were not in the original version. Like, you are... Like, this deck is not really looking to play Lurrus until the very end of the game anyways. You're almost never, like, playing an early Lurrus. It's not like you have baubles to loop or anything like that. I think it's... Maybe you can get away with having a Tundra or an Underground Sea, but, like, basics are so broken. Like, in this case, if I, like, had, say I had all Tundras, just for an example, right? If I have a Tundra here, my opponent has the ability to wasteland me off of my entire deck. So, and that's the reason. Maybe we can fit one, but so you have Cavern on Cat or Nightmare. You have Lotus, Petal, Jet. The original version didn't have Jet and Pearl, but it had Lotus, Petal, and Lotus, and it had Aether Vials, so you could technically take your other Aether Vial to 3. But I don't think like taking Aether Vial to 3 is, that's just not really what I want to be doing in Vintage. But yeah, you know, you might be right. Maybe like the cost of having a single fetchable, you know, off of Lorien, Tundra, or Underground Sea is worth the risk of getting it wastelanded when you need blue mana. That's possible. It's possible. We'll see. I do think having access to Jet and Pearl is going to help a lot, though. Especially because you have Urza Saga, right? Black Lotus. So should I just negate Lotus or should I force Lurrus? I guess I would rather force Lurrus, right? Because they're not rebuying. I mean, if they have a counter, I lose either way. So, and it's they could have a Savine's Reclamation, I guess, in their deck. That would be the punish. But if my opponent's last 2 cards are Blue Card Force or Spell Pierce or Flusterstorm, there's really not much I can do. We're just going to get run over. Or if they have a Manifold Key as their last card as well. Yep. All right. I've been bested by the no lands draw. Can't really beat that. Not gonna lie to you. They just had all the right answers. Brutal. I really, really needed something to work out. Dress Down is just so good. I mean, we resolved an Ancestral in that game, but we did have to counter a misstep to do it, so. So we're playing against blue-white Lurrus. We probably are not making very many changes. We are basically pre-boarded. I would like the access to the Soul Guide Lantern. I really don't like the idea of negation. I don't feel like they have that many spells in their deck that matter, but obviously negation against like Lotus and Time Vault is pretty reasonable. I mean, the Spell Pierce looks pretty bad, right? We'd rather have a negation than a Spell Pierce. Do we want access to Phantasmal Image? I don't think so. Is Dismember good just so we have answers to Lurrus? Maybe. I don't know if that's necessary, but maybe it's fine. I actually don't think we need an access to either Spellbomb here. Though I guess you could bounce my own creatures and steal more stuff. It's probably fine too. I just think all these cards are fine is the problem. Maybe we go 1 trap. I'm not sure. I feel like you can convince me that any of these cards should be in the configuration, and I'd probably be open to the idea. It's tough because I really don't like negation versus their deck, but Time Vault really necessitates something. Sand looks like it's sweet. We've got Answer to Saga. We've got Cantripping Uncounterable Merfolk. And we have a Force. I don't even really like Force in this matchup at all. Because I just don't feel like they have a lot of castable cards. Or not castable cards, but cards that matter. Don't know if that's like in my blue-green Lurrus deck, when I played the mirror in the final round of the last challenge, I cut all my forces, but maybe that's a mistake. Just wanted to grind, you know? All right, my opponent plays a Saga. They're about to get Tide Shapered. You'd love to see it. Oh my god, what are they? Stop it! Too much Moxen. Whoa! Okay. Yep. I mean, I sure hope they don't have turn 1 Lurrus with Force backup. All right, it was just turn 1 Lurrus with Lotus and no Force backup, so we live to see another day. All right, we will kick this Tide Shaper with uncounterability, turn this Saga into an island, killing it, and attack. Don't think we're going to play the Spell Bomb. I think we're going to hold open the ability to get an island with Lorien revealed. You could convince me that I'm supposed to hold Lorien revealed for after Saga gets a Black Lotus, so I can cast it. But then I'm not even doing that the first turn because I'm going to be making 2 Saga tokens. Where if I do Lorien revealed, I can actually play Spell Bomb, which is going to make my construct bigger. Yeah, I like pass. Tide Shaper killing Saga here might be enough though. We'll see what happens. I do recommend if you play a Lurrus deck that you draw Mox Saga Lotus in your opening hand though. It's pretty good. Another reason that you really want to have full Moxen Suite in your Lurrus Saga deck. All right, we can still totally die in this game. Opponent like showed they have no okay. Yeah. Blue mirrors. Yeah. I am not thrilled by the prospect of this game. Mana Crypt. Well, now we can play our Lurien, what is that called? Lorien Revealed. I guess what we can do now is put the Lurrus in our hand, because we're not attacking with this contract this turn anyways. So we can hold this Spell Bomb, put the Lurrus in our hand, so when we get Lotus, we can go Lotus Lurrus. We don't have a 2/2 Tide Shaper, unfortunately, because we did kill their island. But yeah, I mean, drawing Black Lotus and Ancestral Recall, Antilarian Academy, and 3 Moxen. It's a good vintage cube draft deck right there. Oh, opponent, please allow us to battle. Oh, yeah, they played Demonic Tutor in their blue-white Lurrus Saga deck. Maybe they're not on Wasteland. You think they're on, like, the Samwise, Esper Samwise, maybe? Wait, no, that would play Wasteland. You think they're on, like, Esper, maybe? There's no way they put DT in their deck that they can only cast off of Jet, right? No, I do think that it is a step too far to play. Like, what would you do? You would play 1 DT, 1 C. I don't know. I do think there are limits to what you can push inside of this shell, and like you can get away with doing it, but I don't think it's like statistically going to give you a higher chance of winning. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you can not me it and you just draw the cards you need, but I think, like, in the long run, it's worse. So, that's just how I look at it anyways. I really do believe that this Lurrus Saga shell should be playing 2 colors. I think when you get to 3 colors, it's... all right, so they passed here. They can have Dress Down, which would be bad for the home team. They can have Hardcast Force, which would be bad for the home team. Yeah, but this represents Force of Negation. If I had a Flash Fish, I would have cast it on my turn anyways because I would have wanted the damage. I think this is a better way of tapping. I don't find tapping the cavern to be convincing. Or not, I think keeping an untapped cavern to be convincing. Excuse me. Oh, yeah. So what do you think my opponent has? They have 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 mana. I'm just gonna get Dressed Down, right? If I make... Oh, they have nothing. Nothing is good. I like nothing. I'm down. All right. My opponent has led Mox, Lotus in both games, right? Should we play a Mindbreak Trap? Another Mindbreak Trap? If my opponent subscribes this hard to the not me theory, do we need to have 2 Mindbreak Traps in? I'm not sure this Dismember is good. But, like, a Lurrus existing for multiple turns, especially with Dress Down in the deck, is not ideal. If my opponent had, like, a Force to go with their turn 1 Lurrus, we would have problems, right? You know, I'm going to just take out the Spellbomb. I have another thing that draws a card, and it's not like I have to bounce Orcish Armies. All right, don't worry. This time, I'm going to have a Mindbreak Trap, and I'll be ready for you when you have your Mox Lotus start opponent. I'm ready this time. Another Ancestral draw. Jeez. No Moxen in this hand, though. Maybe we'll draw some. Mox number 1. Jet all 3 games. Demonic Tutor? What? What is happening? I just want to play Magic, man. I'm so confused. What's the command? What's that command, Slasher? Is it record? Maybe the Super Jump Phantom League was more important, you know? Go. Up against a 2-0 Viceroy. I've got a Lurrus. This hand looks bad to me. Oh, wait a second. They exile. They're playing Dredge. Okay, this hand looks good to me. I think Dredge is probably a bad matchup for us. We do have a Needle in our main. They exiled 21 cards, including 2 Force of Will, 2 Grief, 3 Grief, Chalice. None of their big Dredgers and none of their Icarids. I mean, we're keeping this, right? On the back of we have a Strip Mine in our hand, right? Like, the only better card in our deck is Needle, and it might not even be better on the draw. Like, if we have a Strip Mine, we just keep. In game 1, I assume. Game 2, we do have 2 Mistcallers and Tinker Sphinx and Cage and his Lantern, so it's not terrible. They did mulligan to 6 and kept 6. I ended up trimming 1 Mistcaller Slasher because I needed to fit the Dismembers and stuff, but I kept 2 Mistcallers, so this is the reason why I think that Strip Mine is even better than Needle here on the draw. All right, so my opponent still ended up finding a grief after exiling 3 griefs. But hopefully that means they have a slower dredge hand. Maybe they have like limited amount of dredgers or something. I have to fit all of these other cards, Slasher. I fit in Tinker, Sphinx, and image, dismember. Well, I mean, the grief wouldn't have been fine if if I had like a needle in my hand, right? All right, my opponent discarded 8'd Amalgam Shambling Shell, so not the best dredgers. That's good. And then we get to strip mine them. They do have Noxious Revival in their deck, so that could be a problem. Maybe we can draw Force here. We drew Island. Drawing Island is not great. Drawing Moxen would have been great. Drawing Force would have been fine. Just beating Noxious. Let's see if they have Noxious. They don't have Noxious. That's good. Then Drawing Force would have been bad. So they can eat the grief, bring back the Amalgam, and then Dredge 3. And then we have to see if they have second Bazaar. They could easily have second Bazaar as well. We did reveal that we were a Lurrus deck, so keeping 2 Bazaars makes sense. They get 2 Amalgams back now. That's kind of bad. Looks like they don't have second Bazaar, but can we beat 2 Amalgams? Will the Saga come off on time? We might need to draw a Moxen, right? Yeah. Okay, so can we beat Narcomoeba 2 Amalgams with no Moxen? We might need to... Well, Saga can beat 2 3/3s if we have enough time, but we don't have a Moxen, right? Do we play Tide Shaper just to chump at some point? Like, playing a Saga now is a lot worse than playing a Saga when we have the mana to activate it, but... So if we play Island and take 7 and go to 10, and then we play Saga and Skydiver, and we can trade here and chump and go to 7, and then we're making a 1/1. Maybe we have to play the first Saga now so that we can get another artifact. But then we can't play the Skydiver on turn... I guess we can still... We can't play the Skydiver on turn 2 because we will have Saga in play. I think I'm going to play Tide Shaper and pass, and then play Saga Skydiver. This might just not be enough. There's no way they have blue card Force, right? Like, I think we're fully capable of beating this board if we had a Moxen. Because if I can go Saga Moxen here, then I'm making things immediately on the next turn. Yeah, I'm getting missed up. Okay. All right. So, Time Walk is a great draw. Time Walk is our best draw, probably. I don't know if it's enough. I mean, Time Walk would probably be enough. Force is bad. Force is too late now. Probably shouldn't F6. So I definitely trade with the Narcomoeba and go to 4. We really needed that Mox, right? Yeah. Still Time Walk, maybe? The second Amalgam that they hit off of the Dredge 3 was really bad for us. I guess we theoretically have an Aether Spell Bomb. Okay. Yeah, I guess I have to force that. And then I'm going to die unless I draw Time Walk into something. Man. Classic Urza Saga, huh? We've had some sick getting ranched by Urza Saga, haven't we? It's okay. It's okay. We'll be okay. No, we won't be okay. All right. The second amalgam was just enough. We also drew what? 3 islands and a force. I guess the force was ended up being fine. Damn. That's unlucky. I feel like we had a good shot in that one. All right, so I'm gonna bring in Lantern, Cage, Tinker, Sphinx, and Mistcaller. I have to bring in Flusterstorm to protect my Saga. Is that true? I feel like our deck needs the Saga, right? We can get rid of Negation and Trap. And Spell Pierce is worse than Flusterstorm. And we saw Noxious Revival, so we keep in Misstep. Spellbomb is probably not good enough. Do we play... Maybe we play one less Skydiver, right? Not very good in this matchup. Can't reveal Lurrus, obviously, but I think having the access to Tinker Sphinx is well worth the power. Could theoretically play Image because I can make a hollow one, right? Image has got to be better than Skydiver, though that does make my Adepts worse. My Silver Gills. Let's try this. Oh, I probably don't need... Oh, I don't have Probe in my deck. Okay. All right. What do I have? I've got Time Walk, Wasteland, no Lurrus. So this doesn't really do anything. I mean, I have a Wasteland, but it's not really enough, right? In game 1, you're pretty much forced to keep a Wasteland because it's the only way you have it to interact. In games 2 here, I think I'd rather try to find something worthwhile. Yeah, this is like the same hand, but with a Misstep and a Silvergill Adept. So I don't... And doesn't have a Wasteland, so I guess we're going to go to 5. They kept 7 because... I don't know, Dredge things. Do I have to keep this 5? Get rid of Flusterstorm Force? This is terrible. No, I'll go to 4. I don't know. I guess we're just going to die. This Mistcaller is not that good without Lurrus. I mean, what can I realistically do here? I just have to keep, right? I have 4 cards. All right, time to figure out how good Mistcaller is against Dredge, because it's about all we got going for us here. So if my opponent plays a Hollow One Slasher, what's our plan? I did forget that we were bringing in Mistcaller in this matchup, which does make losing our Lurrus worse, for what it's worth. My opponent kept 7. What makes you think they're not going to play like 3 Hollow Ones? Have you ever played against a Dredge player who didn't keep a hand that just had 3 pieces of interaction, a Hollow One, and the best Dredgers? All right, they had no Hollow One. My bad. You can't really stop an 8'd, can you? Like, you could do it, they just don't bring the 8'd in. Well, there's absolutely no way I get Force of Vigor if I cast this Needle, right? There's absolutely zero chance that that happens, right? Oh, we just got negated. Not bad. All right. Okay. You know what? This could be winnable. This could be winnable because if I draw a land or a mox, I can make constructs, right? And they can only bring back an Icarid every turn. Winnable, winnable. If we win this game on a mold of 4 by playing uncounterable Mistcaller, I don't know. I'll be pretty impressed. Like, I can't stop this Icarid. If it wants to hit me, it's going to hit me, right? Okay. They have 2 Bazaars. Is that what's happening here? That's the only reason you wouldn't activate an upkeep, right? They have like so many cards in hand. It's not like they're trying to hold cards. Maybe they could be. They could be wanting to hold cards, I guess. Wasteland. Okay. Rest in peace, Urza Saga. You lived a good life. Not really. You didn't really live a good life. I needed you to live, actually, but I kind of needed you to live a better life. Is this life coaching on my Urza Saga? Okay, so I have to miscolor. All right, let me think about this. So if my opponent brings back, I have to let the Narcomoeba come into play, right? So that I can hit the prized amalgams because they're not a May. So I want the Narcomoeba to come into play. I guess that's also true if they ever bring back another Icarid. This is kind of weird. Yeah, I don't think I want to like use my Mistcaller and eat a Narcomoeba trigger. That doesn't seem good. So I want to let them bring a Narcomoeba if they want, and then eat their 2 amalgams. Can I can't like hit this Icarid on the way. All right. So I guess I sack this Mistcaller because these are not a May. My opponent maybe don't know. Is that going to be enough? It's probably not going to be enough, right? This Mistcaller is probably not good enough. Definitely does something, but it interacts like kind of poorly with this May on Icarid. Got 2 amalgams though. We definitely weren't beating 2 amalgams, so it did save us. I just don't think it wins the game for us, unfortunately, because our Saga just did not do the Saga thing, which is, I guess, normal because it's a Saga, but my opponent just saved a prized amalgam by putting it on top with Noxious Revival. Is this the world we're living in? Real life? Oh, this would be so good if I had a Mox or an Urza Saga in play. I think I have to hold this. Try to draw a land next turn. Do I pay attention to non-eternal formats? Yes, I do pay attention to them. I don't usually play very many of them, though. This time they have to activate because they don't want to draw the prize amalgam. I guess they would just dredge. Never mind, they don't have to activate. Uh-huh. So are we eating this prize amalgam this turn? I guess we are. But we can wait for their dredge at least. How do I feel about the ban announcement and lack of actual bans? I think that was the expected outcome, and I'm surprised people didn't think that was the expect. There's Bridge from below? I guess we can sack this and get rid of the Bridge from below. That's kind of cute. Unfortunately, this Amalgam didn't see this 8'd, so it won't come into play. So I guess we just sack this now. And just F6. Like, frankly, anyone who thought the announcement was going to look anything other than it looked the way it looked today, I think is fooling themselves. Oh, we could have blocked and sacked. Yeah, you're right. I was too busy wanting to F6 and eat chips. Exclamation mark F6. I don't think 3 life matters. I think we're dead no matter what, right? This is uncounterable now. It's kind of nice. You're right. 3 life might matter like a lot for what it's worth. 3 life is probably going to matter like so much so that we're never playing another spell the rest of the game. There's just no chance. Like, we can't actually beat an 8'd, right? It's doomed. They're gonna dredge. They're gonna bring back the surprise amalgam, and we're dead. The F6 is worth way more than 3 life, and you know it. Don't try to gaslight me that the F6 value wasn't worth more. I know it is. There's not a single card that saves me, by the way. We're just super dead. This matchup is pretty bad. Maybe we should have played ley lines in our sideboard, huh? All right. Yeah, that matchup sucks. All right. We are saved from the Dredge menace by cleansing ourselves in the Absorbent 3 red-green deck. I have a count. Vile would be very bad if we had it in our deck against Absorbent 3. This is a pretty nice example of why Lorien Revealed is not one fetch. It is never, ever going to be one whole fetch land. And this is the exact reason. If you don't have the ability to cycle it, then it's not a land, right? It can get really close to one. I'm not saying it won't always, I'm not saying it will never, be very close to being one whole fetch. But this is a great example of why it's not a full fetch land ever. Let's mulligan. I am definitely going to get my Urza's Saga destroyed if I keep this hand. I have to do it anyways, right? Like, what am I going to do about it? I just have to keep it. I should probably play out Spell Bomb, I guess. Maybe they'll destroy it for fun. This just like exposes me to getting Vigored, right? I guess if I get Vigored, I can cycle, so it's fine. Like when my Saga comes down, obviously. All right. What kind of Moxon's Collect Roof start you got going on here for us? Yeah, Moxon. There goes Moxon. Forest Collector Roof. Nice old Emerald Collector Roof. Yeah, Okay. You got a Root Maze. And Collector Roof. Chalice on 1. Resolve. Tap Chalice on 1. Is that Odyssey? Tempest? Something like that? I think it's Tempest. Oh, what's up, Pete? Thank you. Hope you're doing well. I do think playing against Absorbent 3 is one of my favorite God damn it. Okay, one of my favorite things. Oh, maybe I wasn't supposed to play the Saga because my next Saga comes in tapped. God fucking Root Maze, man. All right, I'm going to let them turn off all their mocks in, though. Like, I'm just going to cycle this. No! Oh, it just automatically did it. I got scared. Yeah, I should probably have not played this Urza Saga. I should have played a Wasteland tapped, I guess. But maybe it's fine because I have another Saga coming. Maybe it's not fine because I'm only going to get 1 construct. Skydive Arena. That would have been good if I countered the Collector Roof. Okay, hold on. Let me think about this stupid Root Maze for a second, and there's a Collector Roof. So if I play a Wasteland, that means I get to make a construct on the next turn. Yeah, I need to wait on this Saga. I have to play a Waste. I should have played a Waste last turn, right? It was a mistake. Got me with the classic Root Maze tech. I just wasn't prepared. Though this Wasteland might just be good in, like, kill the Beseiju, right? Like, they're turned off. Like, they turned off all their mana with a Collector Roof. Are we sure that making a 1/1... They didn't even attack. Are we sure that making a 1/1 is better? I mean, it's a 2/2, I guess. So, yes, it is better. Okay. I convinced myself. Tapped. Of course. Is there any world where we don't just get a Black Lotus in case the Collector Roof dies and we can get Lurrus? That's gotta be what we're supposed to do here. Like, technically, we could get the Needle so we can't draw it. But what am I needling? Am I needling Beseiju? Needle Boo? How are they ever casting Boo? They have a Collector Roof and no mana. Like, we have a Force of Will for Boo. I think we're fine. And what about Beseiju? I would probably needle Beseiju before that. But I think I'm just supposed to get Black Lotus. And then I can play... Do I want to play Saga here? Because I kind of want to Wasteland them. Let's play Strip Mine instead. This way I can Wasteland them and play... I guess I can't Tide Shaper if I Wasteland. I guess I can Tide Shaper if I Wasteland them. If they Vigor me here, that's fine. Sure. I think that's okay. Typically, the only card that really matters in my opponent's deck is Minsc Boo. Yeah, good try. But you did this to yourself. All right, so I like Wasteland here. Wasteland looks really good. Do I just play a 2/1 flyer? Obviously, I can play this Tide Shaper through Chalice because I have a Cavern of Souls. But I also, it's just a 1/1 because I killed their land. So I think I actually... Man, I kind of want to steal a Sapphire anyways. No. I'm just gonna get my 2/1 flyer in play because I can't kick it, and I'm just gonna play a Saga tapped. And next turn we'll make Saga token, and we'll make Saga token, and we'll get 2 3/3s, and then they'll have to have another Force of Vigor. But at that point, we can actually counter the Force of Vigor. So I don't have any intention of trading with this collector roof until I absolutely have to. They drew a Bayou. Is there any world where we just strip mine the Bayou or Tide Shaper the Bayou instead of making a construct? There isn't, right? We're just always making a construct here. Yeah, we're just always making a construct here. The one thing that is really nice about playing Absorbent 3 games is it kind of feels like you have to do some learning every time. You're like, oh, I haven't played a game where my artifacts and lands into the battlefield tapped in a long time. It's like playing a janky kitchen table match of Magic where you and your friends are like, what if we play with this rule? What if we play with the root maze rule? Which is kind of fun. You got it. Collector Roof gets in there. Dedication to your craft. That's what our opponent is. Yeah, I think I'm interested here in just wastelanding my opponent off of all of the stuff. I guess we should do this. I guess I should have done that earlier, like in their upkeep. In my upkeep, I should have done it. Okay. All right, I think I will Needle Besage you now. Boss Age. Who endures? I don't know if they have like a flash creature. I guess they could have like a Bowmaster. I guess that would get me no matter what. So. All right, I get a nice attack for 3 in here because my opponent didn't leave back the Collector Roof. Oh, I think Root Maze is cool. It was pretty sweet when I was playing like PO because I'd be like, what am I supposed to do against this? I have to bounce it, you know? But in general, it's a Root Maze. All right. Is this the moment where we free them from their Collector Roof to get in for 5, putting them to 8 and dead on board? Yeah. It is. It is that moment. I wish I had another. I guess I don't have another Skydiver. I have a bunch of counters though, so I think we'll be okay. Don't even think I want to play a Tide Shaper. I think I just keep up 3 forces. Have lethal on the table, just counter anything they play, and call it a day. All right. I wasn't expecting the Mox Root Maze Chalice on 1 start, but it was fun. Phantasmal Image seems fine. I'm not even convinced we bring in Sphinx. Like, they have I think they have like 3 or 4 Besagers in their deck, right? Dismember looks good. I think we want Lurrus, which is the big reason you don't want to bring in Sphinx. So the question is, do we take out Negation, but Negation counters Boo? Tide Shaper into Chalice would be such. Are you sure? Are you sure? I don't know. Are you sure? So Chalice the Void counters, and if you tap with a Cavern of Souls, it makes your creature uncounterable. All right, I think I'm gonna get rid of Spell Pierce and Mindbreak Trap and leave in Negation, Misstep. I chose Merfolk. Tide Shaper's a Merfolk. You can almost choose Wizard, actually. You have 12 Wizards in your deck. I almost played a Step Through tonight. We were very close. I decided to play the Aether Spellbomb instead, but I almost really wanted to meme with a nice Step Through. I'm going to submit like this. So I don't think Negation is particularly good against my opponent's deck, but the best card in their deck is Boo, and I do think I want Negation for it. So I decided. You don't know about Vintage Staples Step Through? Shouldn't have been. I think we were a turn after that. But no worries, no worries. This hand looks fine if we don't get oofed, which we should be able to do. Getting triple island would be so nice. Man, if my opponent plays 2 collector oofs, chat, or maybe even Veil collector oof. Can I force this? Like, my opponent is known Veil of Summer Enjoyer. If they go oof Veil me, I want to force this. Okay, all right. I thought for a second my opponent was gonna go Spirit Guide Collector Roof, and I was gonna be so sad. All right, so my risky keep is fine here. I get to get all my basics against their Wasteland. I'm not gonna play a Tide Shaper. Just gonna wait. Hold open Lorien Dismember. It is my Jet, which is nice because it casts my Dismember and my Lurrus, but it also is going to be sad when they get rid of it to the Might. Haywire Might, that's a card I like a lot. I want to play more Haywire Might decks. No follow-up? Risky business. Risking it on the Black Lotus? All right. Okay, so now what I can do is I can Tide Shaper this Wasteland so my Saga doesn't get Wastelanded. I guess it gets mighted probably, but I feel like it's worth a shot, right? We have all our basics now, so we should be fine if bad things happen to us. Really should not have said that. That was like raising so many flags. Oh boy. Okay. Oh. They let me have the colorless. All right. Well, we got 2 cards. A nature claim is gone. We get nice F6 value. So they have an island. We have an island. Basically the same. Oh, besiege you. I always love a good Haywire Might collect roof deck. All right. I attack. What's the worst that could happen? I mean, the worst that can happen is my opponent goes red land, spirit guide, boo. That's the worst that could happen. Oh no. That's pretty good against our Lurrus. What's happening? What's happening? Don't. I think that's fine. I have no idea what's in their card board. I'm so excited for this. Have they? Do they have any published list with Karn? What's in their Karn board? Like, they have too many Seeds of Innocence in their sideboard for there to be a Karn board, right? Is it even worth it to get Lurrus? It's better for me to hold open Dismember, right? I can't ever cast this Lurrus. Yeah, I'll just hold open Dismember. Triple Island does not cast Lurrus, notably. I did draw exactly Pearl Jet that would have cast Lurrus for what it's worth. So if they play 2 creatures here, we can dismember both creatures and kill Karn. And then we're on our way to playing Lurrus. They got a liquid metal coating. Uh-oh. All right, we have the Dismember, though, so we're going to be okay. No, no, no. We're not going to lose any lands here. We're going to be fine. Totally fine. Oh, they could actually kill non-creature, right? Non-creature. Oh, we got lucky that the Haywire Might's non-creature. Because we're going to lose a land here. So my opponent's going to turn something into a land, and then they're going to exile it. That's my assumption. Yeah. Blue. Pew. Cool play. Cool play. This card's sweet. That video actually did really well today. I was really happy because I didn't post about it because I kind of forgot. I was like in the middle of a work call, so I didn't post about it. But the 5-color Lurrus video is doing pretty well. Could have paid 4 life to keep the land. Yeah, I don't think that's necessary. We're gonna unlock our pearl here. I think it's better to have a dismember for something that could happen. Ooh, I really like this wasteland draw because this wasteland can hit their green source, and we can still pearl and grab Lurrus. They should have killed their own island so that Tide Shaper couldn't kill the Karn. That's a big brain play from the not me. Hugest brain on that guy. That is not a line I would expect my opponent to find, even if it was correct, which it might be. It's possible. I certainly don't like. I don't know. I don't know what's in their board. I don't know what's in their Karn board. All right, so I can't cast this Lurrus unless I draw a Cavern or a special piece of Moxen. And not that it's that great to cast Lurrus because they do have a Caracas, but we do have a Jet in our graveyard, so Hex Catcher. Okay, I don't mind that one. Chat, who's getting in for the extra 1 damage? I think me. Yeah, I guess the Karn goes up 1 every turn, right? So it's impossible for me to kill the Karn with no islands. Yeah, it might be correct. Might be correct. Well, I think the thing that I'm more concerned is getting the liquid metal coating itself correct. Well, sometimes it's hard to cast Mycosynth Lattice. My opponent's deck isn't like a full, mana ramp deck. It doesn't have Workshop. So it's not always going to be able to pay 6 mana, Like they had to use a Spirit Guide to put a Karn in play. So I think coating probably makes more sense than Lattice in their deck. Yeah, they didn't consider the Might dying, obviously, for sure. Dismember on my Hex Catcher. Wait, they just top deck Dismember? Because if they had Dismember, they could have just Dismembered the Tide Shaper and I was doomed, right? So they must have top deck Dismember this turn. Yeah. But we don't know. I don't think, like I said, I don't think Absorbent 3 has 5-0'd with a list that had Karn, so I'm not sure what's in their Karn board. I mean, it's a day of the week. We get to play Absorbent 3. All right, what do we got? Cavern? I was really hoping we would get a Cavern so I could name Nightmare. Nightmare's a fun name. Another one. I kind of think naming Nightmare is more fun than naming Cat. But we can do one of each. Why not? Okay, a Jet. Yeah, but look how buff this Mama Lurrus is. She seems like a nightmare to me. Any Nightmare enjoyers? I know they have a Krakus, but we have a Jet in our yard, so I think it's worth. What's happening? Oh, no. So if they shoot my Hexcatcher and I dismember the Bowmaster, sack my Hexcatcher, and daze my Dismember, do they get nothing? Does that work? How's this read? I feel like that's a play I'm about to make. So I dismember holding control. And then I sack my Merfolk targeting Dismember. And then I pay. Ooh, okay. Big. It wasn't the most value, but it was fine. What do I like in Vintage right now? Lots of things. Most of the most played decks are all playable. Nightmare. If I draw a Wasteland, I can kill this Krakus as well. Or a Tideshaper. I can turn it to an island. Ooh, no, Deathrite Shaman off of Jet. It's a good one. God, imagine if I had cast that into Bowmaster. I would have never played around Bowmaster. I would have just slammed Ancestral Recall. 0% chance. Phew. Ooh. I like Steel Jet. It's mine. I think all the most played decks are pretty reasonable. So whatever you fancy. Check out the dashboard. All right, what are they making? What color? Green. The Bloom. Okay. It's a 3/2, right? Oh, we found the Tideshaper. Okay. So I can just not attack with my Tideshaper. I can go Island, Tideshaper, turn off Caracas, play Lurrus, replay Jet. I have double Hexcatcher to replay, and then I win on the next turn. That sounds fine. Blue, white, cast with kicker. Turn off this Caracas. Black, black. Play a Nightmare. Replay Jet, and then next turn I have 2 Hexcatchers, so I can replay 1 Hexcatcher and play the one from my hand. So I technically have 3 Hexcatchers. And we attack all and win. Sweet. That was fun. Can they Bloom kill Lurrus? Yeah, I guess they could do that. Sure. Haha, they are? I mean, we're still winning on board, right? So it's fine. Banger. I don't think I'm playing around that. Like, if they want to use that to get in, yeah, that's fine. I'd rather them kill the Lurrus than kill one of my Tideshapers, unlocking stuff. I guess they drew a green source. Are they gonna play Boo? I think Boo's too late here. I don't think Boo does it. If they play Boo and shoot this, we still kill them with a Hexcatcher. So this has proliferate, and it also is a 3/2. I personally would be playing the werewolf, but what the fuck is this? First strike, death touch. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you either draw a card, lose a life, destroy an enchantment, or remove 3 counters. Awesome. Okay, so as long as my opponent doesn't have a dismember, I guess dismember is not helping them. There's no reason for me not to start with an adept, right? Try to find a force. Yeah, this is fine. Tap there, Moxen. Boom! Got him. That was cool. All right, here we go. Round 4. I got a cat. Uh-huh. I accept. Keep. Well, I mean, it's like 5 seconds, 30 seconds if you play modern. Like, you know, there's pretty order of magnitude difference between having 1,000 players in your queue and having 100 players in your queue, right? Oh, yeah. Well, I don't think the vintage player size has changed very much. I think, if anything, it's grown. So maybe just a time of day thing then. All right, so I have a lot of mana. I have the ability next turn to make a construct and a skydive. I have hardcast trap if necessary. Got a lot of good things happening here. Could technically go Lurrus on my next turn. Land Lurrus. Replay Lurrus. I don't have protection for that, so it's kind of unlikely. Manival. All right, maybe we get some trap value. Workshop Jewel. Any Workshop Jewel enjoyers? Or Island Cycle. Okay. Tinka? Ring or Beseech? I think Beseech is better than Ring. I haven't really been impressed by any Ring deck. Tinka? Oops. Mindbreak Trap. No. If they forced, I even had the Hexcatcher Daze. Oh, what are they playing? Could be either. Could be neither. Could just be Blue Black Saga. I think I just want to leave my activation until end of turn, right? Or do I want to go like... Is there a world here where you play just all of our... Or not all of our things, but we play like Skydiver and Hexcatcher instead of make a construct? Because it insulates us against like top deck Ancestral or something like that. I kind of think that's better than making a construct here. Like, we're going to make constructs. It's going to be fine. Oh, I'm definitely stealing Mox. That's, I think, the best play. I was just thinking, instead of making a construct here, I think it's better to just play a Hexcatcher. Might even be better. No, I'll probably hold the Tide Shaper. Yeah, I think I'm gonna play a Hex Catcher. This like just insulates me against all the possible things that could be bad that are happening. And I can still like I have double Pearl, so I can get Lurrus next turn and replay Lotus if I want to as well. I think that's worse. I actually think that's worse. I think playing Skydiver Hex Catcher means that I can't die, and then I can go Lurrus on the next turn. I think this line is better. Blue. Chain of Vapor, the Pearl. Oh, okay. Sure. So they're definitely on Besiege. Well, I guess that's not true. They could still be on Ring, I guess. Black Vamp. Okay. So they're probably putting Ancestral or, yeah, probably Ancestral on top. So this turn we want to go Lurrus Tide Shaper so that we could counter anything if we really wanted to. See what we draw first. Island. So I can't needle anything that matters, right? So if I were to fetch my Jet and tap 1, 2, 3. So am I actually short? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm actually short, right? I'm not worried about a Necro or a Ring. I have enough Merfolk. So I actually can't play Lurrus here because they stole my Jet. Sorry, they stole their Pearl back, right? It's kind of unfortunate. That chain was really good. I could spellbomb my Skydiver and then replay. I don't have enough blue mana for that. It'd be pretty sick though, right? So if I get a Lotus Petal, I have 1 mana, 2 mana, 3 mana, 4 mana, 5 mana. Yeah, I'm short. Huh. Maybe I did play this badly then. I don't know. It just felt like the best way I could, the most likely way I would lose, like my opponent untapping an Ancestraling. So I could just get a Mana Crypt and then buy back Lurrus and then hold open Saga activation. My opponent's going to resolve an Ancestral now because I can't make enough art-like creatures to sacrifice and counter. So I think that's fine. I don't think I want to play like a Skydive or anything here either. Just put this in the hand and attack. Could lose this game now. Interesting. The Chain of Vapor play was just not something that was on my radar at all. Are you sure? My opponent just casts a Yogwill here and wins, right? I think we're going to lose this game. Maybe I should have forced the chain? There's no way, right? Like, oh. What? Did they just have Yogwill? Wait, no, this doesn't make any sense. What the? Why did they do this? They have Time Walk. They just untap it and they twist her and it's uncounterable. Daze you. Guess they didn't read. I mean, it's got a lot of text on it, I guess. I think they just didn't read it. That Twister would have been pretty good on the Time Walk turn. So here I can make 2 constructs, get a Lotus, play my Lurrus, replay Lotus. Get a Jet, right? Get a Jet. Jet's probably better. Jet. Lurrus. Oh, I can get a Lotus Petal is actually what I was talking about. I didn't realize I didn't have a Jet yet. Just get a Black Lotus. I can Skydive this Pearl back next turn. I only have 1 daze. I think I'm actually going to... I am going to crack this Lotus post-combat, and I'm going to turn one of the underground seas into an island so that they can't have, like, land beseech. And it also gives me an additional daze, right? And I'm not going to lose to a Saga at this point, so I don't need to hold it for Saga. I think that makes a lot of sense. This just, like, gets rid of their out of... I mean, I don't know if a beseech is actually resolvable anyways, but... So, interesting game. I don't know if I'm supposed to actually be winning this game because of this Twister. Obviously, I made a play where I played Hexcatcher and Skydiver instead of going like Lurrus, Lotus, Skydiver, no Hexcatcher. That play was like pretty aggressive into a possible Force of Negation, and this felt like it played around more things, but it definitely was more anemic and allowed us to almost get killed. This is definitely a Flusterstorm matchup. I kind of like the idea of Lantern in this matchup. Don't need a Spell Bomb. Do you bring in Cage? Probably bring in Cage too. All of our cards are really good. This is the kind of matchup we're like super pre-boarded for. So it's going to be kind of hard to cut cards. You can keep Needle in for Vault Key and Saga, I guess. We can just Skydive a Sphinx. I don't know. What do you want to cut? Like, all of our cards are good, right? How do you make cuts? Like, our whole deck is blue cards, counter spells, anti-artifact. Like, none of our cards are bad, right? There's not a single card in our deck that's bad. How do we make cuts? I guess we can cut trim on Moxen, off-color Moxen. Maybe. Maybe that's something you could do. I don't know. Like, Adept is pretty good because it's just putting a clock in play and doesn't cost a card. So, like, maybe what I do is I cut a Mana Crypt, a Ruby, an Emerald, and a Silvergill Adept. Could we trim an island? Yeah, maybe we can trim an island, but we also are cutting a bunch of mana. So maybe we'll trim an island and we'll keep the Mana Crypt. And we'll cut Ruby, Emerald, Island, Silvergill Adept. We trim a Lorien before an island? Yeah, we would definitely trim a Lorien before an island. That's true. I don't know. I don't know the answer. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you I know the answer to this question. There are just all the good cards. This is the exact kind of matchup that this deck is designed to beat. You are designed to beat Urza Saga combo decks, and Beseech, which is what we're assuming our opponent's on, is Beseech, or Blue Ring, are exactly that. So when your opponent goes Mox, Mana Vault, turn 1 Tinker, and you Mind Break trap them in game 1, it's just completely demoralizing as the combo player. Sometimes you never recover from that mentally. I wouldn't know. right, where you at, opponent? We doing the battle? I guess I can't say that, considering I am multiple minutes down on clock. All right. Where you at, Justin? Ah, I have a cat. So this is what I was worried about with Spell Pierce, but I mean, we're keeping. I guess this hand is actually quite bad against Urza Saga because we don't have a Tide Shaper, we don't have mana, we don't have Wasteland, but I mean, I'm not gonna mulligan this. I hope we don't get Saga. Yeah, I think I'm gonna allow the Ruby. I kind of think I'm supposed to negate this one though. Just gonna pitch the Spell Pierce. The Lotus has a lot of viability in like Yogwell piles. I think it makes a lot of sense to just hit the Lotus with the negation. And if they like fluster or counter back, we still have trap. Yeah, but the problem is like, I don't think I want this Lotus in the yard, right? I don't know. Maybe I just let them do it. It just feels kind of free though, right? I mean, if they're countering this, they're gonna go, right? All right. I think I'm just gonna let them do it. I don't know. I could be convinced either way. This is turn 1 Citadel. Demonic. Yeah, you got it. I mean, we kept a hand that was just mono counter magic, so maybe we'll rip a Lotus and steal their Ruby or a Wasteland or something. It'll be sick. All right, they have 2 cards left in hand. Oh, they have 1 card left in hand. Twisties. No. Yeah, all right. It was a nice hand though. Like they had Black Lotus, Academy, multiple Moxen, Force, Demonic. Like, good hand. Oh, we have to draw land or Moxen or something, and we cut them all. So yeah, they have Ancestral, Tinker, but we also have Yogwill if they have a black mana. But we have another Force and a Misstep. So okay, they have lots of Lorians. Are actually their best draw probably. All right, we drew a Moxen. Things are good. I'm just going to go with the cantripping one so that we can draw something and steal later. Okay. Not there yet. One for 2. They drew a wheel. I can't steal because X can't be 0, so I need to draw mana. I don't think we can let them have a wheel. I'm gonna force pitching something. I think I'm gonna pitch the Mental Misstep. I think stealing with 2 Skydivers is no, it's too much. I should leave the Misstep. Like if I don't draw a land and I keep double Skydiver and they draw Ancestral, I'll just be like super sad, right? Like, I think stealing Simply Crypt is enough. My opponent is not happy. My opponent is not happy. Yeah, I don't think it's unreasonable to make pitch misstep. I just think I don't need to do such a thing, and I don't think I will. Like I think like a super big downside is I don't hit a mana right. I think I'm gonna take this Mana Crypt, even though it's a clock. My opponent is off it. They drew pretty well. They drew a Wheel of Fortune. I can't see more cards. Yeah, I mean, this is, like I said, this is the matchup. This is the counter matchup. This is the best matchup for your deck. So, all right, so here we go. This could be finally the matchup where we will regret not having Lord of Atlantis, because our opponent is Code Provider, who likes to play code piles, which are basically Green Sun Zenith monstrosities. I have another ancestral hand, so. Basic Forest. Hex Drinker. Yep. Ruby. Sick cube deck. No, mental misstep. Can I beat a Hex Drinker? I don't know, man. Why do you ask me these things? Oh, okay. It's fine. 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 How do I want to sequence this? I'm just gonna cast Island Ancestral and see what happens. Oh, there's no way my opponent has a Force of Negation. They played Ruby Forest Hex Drinker. There's no way. Oh, fucking. I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to play around that, which is why I didn't. One, two. I'm not gonna play any of my Moxen out. I don't want to incentivize them to like slam an oof or something. I think I want to play Lorien revealed next turn. 14? Bro, he's gonna fetch a Bayou. Just watch this fucking Bayou come into play. I might not be beating this 3-4-4 here, to be honest with you. I don't think we're beating this Hex Drinker. Two, three, four, five. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm supposed to draw. I don't know how I win this game, to be honest. But it's not with the no cards in my hand. A little late. So what does this go to this turn? 6. So next turn, if I Wasteland and Skydive and they have no more mana. Yeah, we're just fucked. Okay. We can concede to this, right? We can't brace this. I don't think we were winning this game anyways, because I just don't think I'm beating this Resolved Hex Drinker. All right, well, we got Dismember, and we got Phantasmal Image. We don't have a Dress Down in our deck. I don't think we're playing Spell Pierce. We could have drawn either Spell Bomb. That's what we could have drawn. But not after he goes to 8, though. Negation looks terrible. Trap is probably terrible. You think he plays like Natural Order? I don't really have other good cards though. Like what else am I gonna keep? I guess I keep in. No, I wouldn't take. So I think Lurrus is better than Tinker Sphinx here. Like they can just have Beseiju or Swords or whatever. All right, which of these spells is like the least offensive? I guess is the question. I guess I technically could play Flusterstorm. Yeah, like probably a Vigor blue deck. Probably Flusterstorm. Yeah, I mean, like, I'd be very surprised if they don't play Green Sun Zenith. It's kind of their MO. I mean, you can hardcast Mindbreak Trap later in the game, and it can actually counter creatures. Like, it's not unreasonable to play Mindbreak Trap. Are we just gonna supposed to go like Lurrus, Ruby, or like Lurrus, or I think we're just supposed to go Saga Go here, right? But not Ruby. We might have to hold these dismembers for Hex Shrinkers. There's only one Hex Shrinker. I'm supposed to just dismember this stupid Deathrite Shaman, right? Just can't be right. I guess if I get oofed this turn, it's like a little annoying. Deathrite. And second land. And Ruby. Okay, no oof though. Fetch around Needle. I guess we could Needle Deathrite Shaman. There's a Savannah? I knew there was a Savannah, man. Just knew there would be a Savannah. And this is why we didn't bring in Sphinx of the Steelwind. Okay. I mean, that's fine for us. I think I like... Man, what do I want to do here? I kind of like... Kind of like Jet Dismember Strip Mine their blue source. I don't know. Maybe that's too much. I guess I could just Needle Deathrite Shaman. I could get a Black Lotus. Yeah, what if I just Needle Deathrite Shaman and Wasteland their Tropical? That's gotta be better. No, I have a Dismember for Hex Shrinker. I think there's one Hex Shrinker in their deck. It's just like a Green Sun Zenith target. Well, there's probably 4 Deathrite Shamans in their deck. I have my second Dismember, so I'm not really worried about a Hex Shrinker now. Bayou, yes. Tropical Savannah Bayou. I hate code decks. I hate them. They don't statistically work, but they always work, man. They always work. It's fine. No problem. Attack. I get to watch me get like endurance or something. Oh, I'm sure there's a Taiga. That's definitely what I'm worried about. How'd you know? I don't think I want to play the Tide Shaper. I just cut them off of blue for a reason. Not that I can kick the Tide Shaper right now anyways. Dryad Arbor. Definitely a green Sun Zenith deck. So maybe I should play Mistcaller. We should probably bring in Mistcaller for game 3. They're not usually a natural order gamer. It's usually green Sun Zenith. Uncounterable. Boop. All right, we got a Force and a Dismember. My opponent doesn't have blue mana in their whatever color deck. Got him. Okay, so I think we should bring in the Mist Colors. I feel like they could be fine. And they gotta be better than playing Fluster. Well, is Mist Color better than playing Flusterstorm? I mean, I guess it is, right? It's a creature, it's a merfolk. Doesn't counter like their own force or whatever, but probably is. Do. Hmm. All right, so what we got here. I've got an image, 2 hex catchers, and a bunch of mana. It's probably a key. Force. Basic forest in this deck too, huh? I think I'm gonna hold this image for something nice. Collector oof. All right, I feel like we should force this. Should I just pitch the image? Probably should just pitch the image. If they force back, I can just flash in a hex catcher. Okay. Ooh, that's like a really nice dismember target. I guess I can get negated, but that's be fine, I think. What, is this green sun for 0? Ah, I could hex catcher it if I hadn't put Lurrus in my hand. It's fine. It's just a Dryad Arbor. It doesn't give them extra colors of mana. If I hit a Cavern here, yeah, I think maybe I am supposed to play maybe one Tundra or one Underground Sea. So if I hit like Lorien here. All right, so cast this, revealing this. Oh, I drew Cavern. That's sick, right? So now I can go Cavern on Cat this time. And then I can get the Lotus Petal back and still play Hexcatcher. And I have another Hexcatcher. Yeah. 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 Oh, okay. That's fine. It's too late for you now, friend. Don't think we're gonna Tide Shaper them. Do we attack with Lurrus? No, just get in there with the boys. Yeah, Lurrus is sick. I'm just gonna play this thing. I should not F6. Hex Drinker. Not this time, little snake. Oh, man. Oh, man. Skull clamping a Snapcaster is a good time. Was it? How many flips have I lost? A lot. The answer is a lot. Should I attack with this Lurrus? Nah. No shot. 2, 4, 7. I guess it does make it lethal. It's fine. Got him. 4-1. We just lost a Dredge. This deck seems like it works to me. Not bad. Not bad at all. Would I make changes? You know, I don't know about this Tinker Sphinx plan. Kind of think it's bad, actually. So I think we definitely want... I think this Tinker Sphinx plan is bad. I do think we want the... What do you think? Underground Sea is better? I guess it doesn't really matter. Because we're not going to play a... I do kind of agree with the original poster who said we wanted to dual land. I didn't think we did, but we definitely think we do. All right, so island, this. Do we want ley lines? Or do we not care? I think we want ley lines, maybe. Do we have to cut, like, lantern and stuff at that point? What do you want to, like, what do you want to cut here? We gotta cut something. We need to cut 2 cards in the sideboard to fit ley lines. And then, I don't know where you want to fit baubles in this deck. Do you want to cut, like, Spell Pierces? Spell Pierce does not look good. We, like, never have a blue source. Yeah, I know. So, say we want to beat Dredge. What are we cutting? I don't think 4 Mistcaller is the play. I'm pretty sure to beat Dredge, you just need Leyline. I think this Spell Pierce is not good. I don't think you have the blue mana for it. So maybe you change these Spell Pierces to baubles. I agree. No, I think the Image Dismember plan is our best chance of beating Mono White. And maybe we can't have enough. Well, I don't think these Flusterstorms are good either. Well, we just don't need 1 mana things. We have 4 negation, 4 force, 2 negation, 4 trap, right? And then we also have Hex Catchers and we're attacking their mana. So what if we just do that? What if we just play this? So by adding the C, we make our deck a better Lurrus deck. By adding the Bauble, we make our deck a better Lurrus deck. I still think the Spellbomb is kind of cute. It didn't really come up, but it would have been an answer to the Hex Shrinker. I don't know if they had 7 counters or 8 counters. They were saying in chat they had 7 counters, so I could have had another draw step for a Spellbomb. All right, I think I like these changes. Looks good. Thanks for Slasher for bringing back the Merfolk deck. Fun deck. It was a good time. more vintage on this channel every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll see you then.